And hi, everyone. Welcome to Tech Down Over. I'm the over guy, and Geoff, right next to me, other way, that way. Geoff is the down guy.
Yes, and with the magic of video, he's just flicked my shot, so I'm up the right way.
So he's actually over and I'm under. It just works fine. Anyway, welcome to Tech Down Over. Tech, news, video, audio, you name it. And I am joined today by Geoff Blanchard, our co-host, good friend, and also video audio aficionado. He and I get each other in trouble. We buy things we probably don't need, but we want, I think. Well, Geoff, we've been talking a lot about the Canon C100, and in my roller coaster of desires, wants, and needs, I have once again decided I don't think I want a C100 Mark II. The more I think about it this week, and maybe moving on, I'm looking at the Canon A7S now, thinking Sony. I'm starting to look at Sony. Tomorrow, I'm going to go buy the Sony RX10 Mark II, which is the equivalent of our Panasonic FZ1000. It's a bridge camera. It doesn't have the long throw of the Panasonic, but this version, when the RX10 came out, by the way, these sound like cars to me. I'm driving the Sony RX10 6-cylinder.
That's right.
When that first came out, it wasn't quite as good video-wise. It didn't do 4K. It did 1080p at 60 frames, which isn't bad, as the FZ1000. So they got dinged on that. But it had a faster lens back then. It has a 2.8 from beginning all the way to 200 millimeters, whereas the FZ1000 goes from 2.8 to 4.0. It doesn't sound like much, but it does give it a slower lens, at least on the far end. The picture quality from reviews I've seen said that the RX10 was slightly more saturated, a little bit better on the colors.
Better? Huh?
And I don't know, maybe. Some of the pictures I saw, yes, but it could be the person who took them and they didn't know how to saturate the other one well. So I always, when I look at YouTube, I take those kind of comparisons with a grain of salt, because they could be lousy photographers.
Well, that's right. And also, like me, sometimes I take a wonderful shot, but something when I produce it in the wrong Kodak, it just doesn't look quite right.
It just slightly changes, yeah. And so the RX10 lost to the FZ1000 back then in terms of sales because it was lacking a couple of things. They had a better lens, or a faster lens, a Zeiss lens versus Leica lens. So, they're very close. They're both very good lenses. Germans make good lenses. But now the RX Mark II, or RX10 Mark II, is equivalent to the FZ1000, except it still has a faster glass, not as long a throw, again, 200 millimeters versus 400 millimeters. Same chip size, they're both 1 inch. And it now does 4K. And
I'll tell you the biggest thing that will sway me, and if you'll get to see this, is how noisy is it? Because that's the only killer for the FZ1000.
They said it's not bad. Up to 3200 ISO, it's actually pretty good. At 6400, not bad. I think this one actually goes up to 12,000. So it goes up higher.
Yeah, but I'm not meaning about the noise on the shot that the Panasonic.
They said the motor,
the physical, the motor noise.
They said the motor is actually whisper quiet.
Oh,
I was watching some review and you couldn't hear it. I couldn't hear it in the video they were doing, and it's also very smooth. So I think they got that right. The FZ1000, that's the one thing I think they blew. It's so darn noisy on the lens, and it's a step lens. You notice it doesn't go smooth from beginning to end. There are little steps along the way. The RX is smooth. But it also could be because it's only 200 millimeters.
Sony must have just done a...
All right. Okay, hold on, Geoff. We lost everything you said there. You froze. You said Sony must have, and then it froze. So you want to re-say what you were saying?
I was going to say Sony must have just redesigned a lot of their cameras, because I've been seeing a lot lately that there was a lot of things people didn't like about the previous ones, but now they're starting to love these ones. Have really put in the things people want, like that A7 Mark II. Well, the previous one, everybody was saying that it wasn't very good at all, but now they've put so many different features into it. And like we were saying about that camera noise, I don't know how the Panasonic does it, but the Sony, they say they've put the stabilizer. It stabilizes the image sensor, not the lens. Whereas you can still get if you put a crappy lens that doesn't have a image stabilizer on it, it will still work, because it's in the camera body.
That's absolutely true. And what they've done with that is they've managed to. So you have your camera here. I've got the mic there. So you've got your camera in the body, and this isn't the first time people have done it, but it's really revolutionary the way it works. They've got a 5-axis gimbal, so you can go up and down at the kind of yaw, or this would be the yaw. It can do the rotational. It goes left, right, and up, down. So it can do all of those, and what that means is you get a lot more stability. And like you said, if your lens is already stabilized, it adds to this. They said it actually works with the lens to stabilize it more. If you don't have it in your lens, it completely stabilizes it. That's fascinating. And I could almost afford this, but I'm going to hold off. And that is the A7 Mark II. It's only $300 more than the bridge camera, but you need a lens, and that's another $500-600.
That's correct.
So I'm going to hold off on that one, because I'm really going to get the RX10 to learn the Sony menuing and the way they do things, because I haven't used the Sony in 20 years, 20 years. It's been a long time. And so I want to get used to the way they do it, because it's pretty much the same across all cameras. It's just like Panasonic, like Sony, like Canon, they're all very similar. Once you have one, short of things changing a bit, they're all very, very much alike in the way they do things. And the bridge camera is my entry back into the Sony world, because if it all goes well, I think end of the year I'm probably going to buy one. Instead of paying taxes, we'll buy 2 A7Ss and with some lenses, and then we have a full run and shoot, really nice full frame camera operation with 4K.
Now, are those A7 II, they're not out at the moment, are they?
They are. The A7 Mark II came out in December.
Are they? Oh, okay. Because I've just been seeing some reviews on that one, the Mark II.
But they have an A7R Mark II. They've got several Mark IIs, and so that's the one that I believe just came out in December. So it's been out for about 7-8 months. And
well, just be careful, because I've just been seeing on there's some of the without that little Mark II on it, and about half the price. So as I said, about $1,800 I think for the previous one, and about $3,300 I think it is for the new one. Is that correct? That's what I see from B&H.
I saw it. I saw the A7 Mark II for about $1,700, but no lens.
That's the old one. That's not. No,
that's a new one. It's the Mark II. It had the A7 II on it. The other one went down now to $1,500.
But you just have, because I just was looking on B&H last night, and they've got the A7R Mark II at $3,198.
Oh, but that's the R, not the A7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know why they do that. You have A7, A7R, A7S, and then maybe another one, and they're all real similar. And
no wonder I'm looking at the wrong damn camera.
Yeah, so the A7, which is actually a beauty, it got really good reviews. Camera Store TV did a very nice. The Camera Store, they did a great review on the A7 Mark II up in Calgary during winter, and last December it was gorgeous. I think they were doing a pre-production camera. It's just about coming out. But the A7 Mark II is not 4K. So that's the only reason I stopped from buying it. I was almost going to invest a little bit more, but not being 4K, it didn't make sense at this point, because everything else we have is now becoming 4K. But it's a beautiful camera. The A7S, I think, is 4K, and I'm not sure about the A7R Mark II. The Mark IIs are 4K, not the regular Mark Is. So it's confusing. And in fact, with the RX10, people are ticked. It's funny what ticks people off. It comes with, your typical camera strap that are pretty useless, and it says RX10, and people are going, it's an RX10 Mark II. Why didn't you put the Mark II in there? Because they were too cheap to print out new ones. So it's interesting. But it's amazing what gets people ticked off. I don't use those anyway. I like the Black Rapid ones that you attach to the bottom.
I do too.
And then you strap them across diagonally. Those are just much nicer. The camera straps, I don't like having it right on my chest as I walk. It's just uncomfortable.
No, and those ones that you strap around, because I never let my camera dangle, so I'm still holding it. I've only got that camera strap for safety. So if I do drop it, I still don't like it dangling. I'll still hold onto it.
I hold it too. I don't just walk with it hanging out. I hold it, but I like holding it at that angle versus holding it or having it on my chest, where I feel like it's going to fall. I'm going to hit something. I'm going to bend over and hit myself. It's just not the best place for it.
Now, Rick, with these Sony ones, the only thing I saw that I particularly didn't like was that, the little flip out screen. Cause
they don't articulate.
And like the GH4, that's got the flip out one. That's the only thing that sort of detracts for me. But
I agree.
Other than that,
I agree, and I'm compromising because even the FZ1000 has a beautiful articulating screen. Geoff, I think the FZ1000 has a better screen than the GH4. But I think, actually, Alex in our office made a good comment. The GH4 is a touch screen. It's dimmer. Whereas the FZ is not, and it's super bright. To me, I have it at half intensity, and I can see it perfectly bright. And with the GH4, I've got to go higher, and it just seems dimmer. It just doesn't seem as bright, or not. I wouldn't say fuzzy, just not as bright. And it could be because they put a matte on it for the touch. Kind of an interesting.
But as I said earlier, the FZ1000 is my favorite to just stick in the car, and that because it's nice and light, does a excellent quality with not too much things to carry about with you. Whereas the CX1000, great camera, but a bit bulky to carry around with you.
Yeah, and so let me show you. We've been talking about the RX10, so let me show you what the RX10 looks like.
Oh, good.
Now, if you notice, they have a little ET that comes out as an EVF, the electronic viewfinder. It's this little ET creature. You press it, it pops up, but it really reminds me of ET. But anyway, it's an interesting camera. It's the size of the FZ1000, so it's going to be about the same feel. Not too heavy, not too light. I'm looking forward to playing with it and seeing how the quality is. They say it does better low light performance. I don't know. They have very similar lenses and very similar sensors, so I'm not sure. It may not. It has higher ISO, so that may be part of it. I think it goes up to 12,800. I don't think the FZ does more than 6,400, but I may be wrong. I don't remember.
But I was seeing in a lot of the reviews and that they said they've got the real high ISO, but that doesn't mean nothing if it's really noisy.
That's
and
true.
All the demonstrations they show on I'd say a house window and getting a lovely shot on that, but they don't sort of let you.
We're having a little bit of audio difficulty with Geoff. Geoff has frozen. Geoff, can you hear me? Oh, he's really frozen. He'll be back shortly. YouTube is calling him, Skype is calling him right back right now as we speak. Welcome to live broadcasting. La, 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 la. All right. We are trying to connect back with Geoff Blanchard. We're on the 18th hole of our golf tournament, and he will be arriving soon. Ooh, Skype is having an issue today. Geoff, can you hear me? No. So let's talk about all the benefits of Skype. This is the newest Skype we have right now, brand new. It runs on the Mac, runs on Windows, And it has a lot of issues with bandwidth every so often. That's one of the features. So whenever you want to do Skype, make sure you get the current version. It works beautifully. There you are. You just came back. It's been trying to redial you. Hold on.
You should be able to see.
There you go. How was the vacation?
Oh, it was good. That was a good Skype. I just went on a little Skype vacation.
So
I don't know what that was. It just disappeared. I thought, no, there's no sound coming through from your end. So I thought, I'm talking to myself.
Yes, that was weird. It just, no, it redialed you 3 times automatically. And I told people, definitely upgrade to the current version of Skype. It has all the features you want, including no bandwidth support. So anyway, you got it.
Well, that's what I did. I was waiting. It's saying connecting. But I thought I better hang up just in case it's that connection. And then you rang again anyway. So
no, it did it automatically. We didn't do anything.
Oh, it didn't? Oh, no, well, that was good.
It did everything automatically. It tried, I think, 3 times, and it finally got you. There must be some sort of solar storm, or maybe politicians are breathing. I don't know, something.
Well, I think I might have said did I say something wrong about the camera, and then I was censored or something?
It could be. Sony has access to everything we do, and it's just gone. No, I'm not sure what you got cut off at one point, so I don't know how far you got into. You started talking about the camera, and then gone. We were talking about articulating screens at one point, and it's interesting because none of the Sonys, from what I could tell, articulate nicely. They all do that kind of half crappy, who gives a damn articulation. That's like, really, what does it cost you to put a nice hinge on these things and make it look nice? But they're considered very good cameras. When I talked to one of our guys, I won't say where because I don't want them getting in trouble, but he said if he had budget to buy a C100 Mark II, or if he had the budget to buy 2 A7Ss, he would get the 2 A7Ss over the C100. I was going, interesting. And that's from a pretty large camera reseller. I was going, oh, that's good to know. I just don't want to get him in trouble because somebody from Canon may watch and go, oh, yeah? Well, we're going to not let you sell Canons anymore.
The only thing that gets me with being here, like over your area, your video, you can have unlimited video, can't you, on the camera?
No. Some of these
cameras. Do you only have?
Well, good point. I'm watching videos from Canada and stuff, and they're saying the camera only does 29 minutes. So that may be Canada too. And this is hello, European Union. Grow up, you idiots. My God. Why do you have a law that says you can only shoot up to a certain number? What is wrong with you people? Really? I mean, seriously.
What it is, it's not so much that you can't shoot over there.
You can. They wouldn't let you.
You can't. No, you can record over that, but it's the thing, you've got to call it a camcorder if it's over 29 minutes. You cannot call it a...
But that's what I mean.
I think that's the thing.
That's what I mean. How stupid is that? And who cares?
Like, you've got the FZ1000 and you can film unlimited, but I can't. I've got it. Mine's restricted to 29 minutes. But why did they say 29 minutes instead of 30?
Yeah, and I know, because it's like 29.97 minutes. They're keeping with the NTSC standard.
I know a lot of the time it's not a big deal because who shoots scenes more than 29 minutes? But I do quite a bit of things where I'll put 4 cameras out and I'll just go for a couple of hours if I'm filming an event. And that's what I want. So, and they'll cut out all and just have 5 minutes worth of film. But
that's why they want you using. But see, that's the whole premise of this. They want you using 2 cameras, and one after the other. When you finish one, you start the other one. That's how they make more money. But I mean, seriously, it's such a stupid regulation. And again, this is the EU being stupid, as they usually are when it comes to imports and tariffs. And it's all about taxing and making their people just have to pay for stupidities. Because really, there's no reason to do that. What if it is a camcorder versus a camera? Who cares? What idiot politician came up with that one?
At least with me being over here, I don't mind. I think when you've got different sort of regulation for different things, but it just seems very strange that something as close as Canada have things so differently than you guys, and it's so close.
Because they're following the EU probably guidelines, which is only one thing could be worse, and that would be following United Nations guidelines, and we'd all be totally screwed. But right now, only part of the world is screwed. So let's hope that we don't keep following their idiotic guidelines. But anyway, let's move on. I don't want to get into politics. They're just disgusting.
Well, back to cameras.
Back to cameras. Now, before we do that, I want to highlight a budding producer I know, a director, producer, filmmaker, and he happens to be on right here next to me right now. It's amazing. He's right there. He's quite gifted at the work he does, and we have a couple of videos that he's done. One of them is it the FZ1000 video? Yes. We have a compilation of work that you, budding producer and director, have done. And by the way, I say that not jokingly. You're actually very good at this. You have a natural talent for filming and recording and a good eye, and you do it with fun and passion, which is part of the beauty of the whole thing. So let's show some of the work you've done with the Panasonic FZ or FZ1000, which is a bridge camera shooting in 4K. So here we go. Now, Geoff, I believe all of this is, we lowered the audio on this one to about half because it's just music so that you could talk and maybe tell us what you're doing.
Well, this is just for the FZ1000. I took it out to the dog park, and I thought, just wanted to see the motion with all the dogs. And this is just all handheld. And I'm quite pleased.
That's really stable. That's very stable. I thought you were on tripod.
No, this is handheld. Just such a good job. I'm just so pleased with this camera, and it's the sort of thing you can just take around with you anywhere. And you can see just such a clarity on that. And this video, like the two videos I have put up there, I haven't put too much time into doing this. It's more so to show the quality of the filming on. That's William.
That was William. Who was the other dog?
That's a German Shepherd, 3-month-old German Shepherd.
It was a dark Shepherd.
William.
Interesting. I was trying to figure out what kind of dog would look like a Shepherd. Interesting.
It's just totally black, but now he's not. Anyway, that's one gone. Anyway, but that was the FZ1000, one of the shots there, and we're just showing you the versatility and the color difference on that.
Yeah.
And I did another one there where I went took it down to the other.
We're going to do the other one now.
Okay.
There we go. Is this also the FZ1000?
This is also the FZ1000, yes, and a little bit from Rampant Designs with those dust. That was one of their little 4K, and then just showing off also the Final Cut Pro 3D text imaging that comes on there. And that's just good so much with just in product things, so easy to use. But this one, what I like with the FZ1000, really, I didn't do too much for the filming. You don't have to think too much about that one. It just sort of does a great job. That's what I like about it. So
now, do you find that I find that the FZ1000, from a control point of view, is so easy to control your shutter, your aperture.
Yeah.
You don't have to look around much. It's all easily within thumb or forefinger. It's really clean.
Now I've shot this video to say I've got to do something about that belly. So that's why I filmed that, because I thought I'm going to watch this next year, and if I haven't done something about that and don't do something, it's just, I thought that's going to shame me into doing something on that. But as you said with the FZ1000, there's not a lot to do, and I'm just so amazed at the quality of the shots, like the HCX 1000. Yeah, that's great, but if you don't think about it, you get a really horrible shot. You've got to, and like that first shot on the first shot I did on the one, I forgot the neutral density filter on there because it was a bit bright, and then it really makes a difference. Where this one, there's no neutral density filters on that. It just does a great job. So, and it just, the manual focus works really well, and it's easy to get to. Like, you just flick the button on the camera and you're back into manual focus. So it's one of those cameras I just do enjoy playing around with as well. And as you see on this one, I obviously didn't have it handheld because I'm there by myself filming. But when it's handheld, it's still an excellent quality. And also, as you're moving, the autofocus is doing a pretty good job of tracking and keeping everything looking good. Yeah, and I don't know if you like my way with that. See me patting the horse. Yes, that's me. I did it all by myself. I thought I was very pleased with myself. It looked like the two, but as I said, the magic of things you can do. But the thing with all the cameras that I still struggle with is the focus, because sometimes when I like manual focus, but with our eyes, sometimes, that looks lovely and clear in the viewfinder, and you get back in looking and say, gee, that was awful. And so I've come to the conclusion, I'll let the automatic do. If it wavers a little bit, that's better than the whole shot being out of focus all the time. Also, what they have is, depending on what focus mode you're in,
You get just a bit. I mean, the FZ1000, I believe, has a 49-point autofocus system, which isn't bad. If you look at the Canon 70D, it only has 19 points. Not a lot. I was looking at that Sony, I think it's the A7S. It has 350 focus points.
I saw that it filled the screen, didn't it? I thought, I hope they don't show that on the screen. You won't be able to see the subject.
I know. So all you have to do is just show a non-focus. I mean, so we have to defocus with that camera because it's totally focused.
So it's in the bottom left-hand corner. It doesn't, because there's 1 pixel missing in the bottom corner.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing how many pixel points it had, but as a result, it's really sharp and it can do very good tracking of things. Now, I just realized I shot something on the FZ1000 I was going to put on, but I totally forgot to bring it in today, so it didn't make it in. I just did some more, not dancing, if you will, but with the FZ1000, I was doing some moves and just seeing, and it was pretty good. It kept my face in very good focus, and I even did at a normal shutter speed of about 1/60th of a second. It wasn't bad. I lowered it to 1/30th, and it gave you kind of a cool effect where the hands were a little bit blurry, but the face was clear. It does very good autofocus, and that's not bad at all. Now, we have another video that was from you. Which one's this one? The Melbourne video. This is the Melbourne one. Now, is that done in the FZ or is that the HCX1000?
HCX1000.
Okay, so now we're going to run the Melbourne one. And by the way, Melbourne looks like just a lovely city.
And just to think, this is a winter's day. This was last Sunday in the middle of winter.
And it looks beautiful.
And I thought, see, it's nice in the middle of winter, and that's and to me it looks a bit like, you can see, I've seen shots.
Now, is that a bay or is it a river where you were going over?
It's a river. It's a river. There. It's yeah, that's it. And as I said, what still struggles with me is getting the right codec for the output, because the camera also does a time lapse. Like
yes.
This is 1 frame every second.
Yep.
And it's great sort of thing it can do on this. But it does come up lovely, the city. But I just love going in there and seeing a bit on there. So.
Now, I was curious, when we first looked at this, were you there at the crack of dawn, or was that in the afternoon? Because it looked like nobody was around.
No, this is 10 o'clock. What's about 10 o'clock last Sunday morning.
Oh, Sunday. So it's pretty quiet on a Sunday morning.
Well, not too, but as I said, it is Melbourne. Like, there's 26 million people in the whole country.
Okay.
So compared to Los Angeles, it will all, even when it's very busy, it'll be on there. So I liked that when I did that boat, I made it disappear when the music stopped. So
yeah. Well, I also like how the light is coming above the buildings. It just looks really pretty. So this is all HCX. Now, you said you had some problems with the HCX on some of this, that it was a little difficult with the settings.
But no, that wasn't the camera. It's more so once I'd filmed it and trying to get the settings from Final Cut Pro or Premiere Pro out to, because some of the times I got a better shot, but the output or the quality wasn't so good.
Now those cars are going fast, but they look pretty good.
It does an excellent. That was with my little enduro hi-hat going down to the ground. So I'll use that. That was really good. But I just can't get over how lovely Melbourne can look just on the. It does. It's a pretty city. Going through this on the.
Now, is this a park? Is this a park that overlooks Melbourne?
This is just the Yarra River. Just goes through this centre of the city as well. Nice. So it's just on the next to the main train station.
Now, are those taxi? Are those taxi boats?
Yes, they are. They can be. They just have. They're not regular ones. More so, people just go up and down the river for a bit of a ride, and then that was in the main part of the city, just and you have from the.
And there's a lovely light rail system.
Yeah,
I love trains. Yeah, trains are great. Is that called a tram?
Tram, yeah, there.
So it's like a small light rail almost.
Well, they do have different areas in there where it is a light rail that goes faster, but they just take them off the road and have a bit more of tracks on there. But
that's nice.
But it's such a and this would use my little hi hat that was on the rubbish bin. I set it on, and now this, but it just looks so nice. It just does. It does such a good job, and that's focus. I was on a badger there. That's why it goes up and down next to the river doing that, but and there's a restaurant under the bridge there.
Is it really? Right under that?
It's a restaurant under the bridge there. But as you see, it just does an excellent sort of quality on there. So I was just so pleased with the quality that came out. The river's a bit brown and yucky.
So again, that was shot with the Panasonic FZ1000 camcorder, 4K, and this was shot 4K.
And this is a time-lapse one as well, and I had it on the road, just underneath my car with the hi-hat.
Oh,
and
funny.
I thought, that hi-hat's really good.
That looks really good. And you notice if you froze that, I bet you those cars would be not too bad. They'd be pretty sharp.
They're perfect. Mm-hmm. I've gone through that frame by frame, and I thought you can see everything.
Wow.
There's not one bit of and that's on there, 1 frame a second. You can do 1 frame every 10 seconds or once every minute.
How long did you do that for? How many seconds?
That was I did that for about 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay, that's pretty good.
That was 10 minutes for that. But I thought with that enduro hi-hat, I put that right on the ground because you can get it as close as you possibly can to the ground, but still with the video head on there. And it was just under the boot of the car, so it was protected, but it looks like you're in the middle of the road. So it's really good.
So next week, I hope I'll be able to take some footage, and for the next week's show, I'll have some footage of the RX10 Mark II.
Oh,
maybe I'll try to have some footage of the FZ1000 as a comparison between the two, because I'm curious just how it's going. They said low light is better on the RX10, but I don't know. I don't think the low light's that bad on the FZ1000. Have you ever taken any night stuff with it?
Well, that's what I was just going to say. That's my next thing I want to do is I would love to go and get some night shots. But it's like everything with night shots. It's the sort of thing you're okay in the day, but I don't fancy sitting on the side of the river next to Melbourne at night time, because apart from looking weird, you don't know if you're going to survive that because you're just asking for trouble. And so you've got to make sure there's plenty of people around. But I'd love to go into the city and try that with both the cameras, because I think they'll do quite a good job. But
now, are there any places? Are there any places in Melbourne? Because I don't know how downtown is over there. But if you go downtown to where there's lots of restaurants and stuff, or walking areas, that'd be a great place to do the night shooting too. And then you'd still have a lot of people around you without having to worry too much. Sort of like that one guy I like. I think that was with the GH4 or the FZ. I don't remember. I think it was GH4 where he goes, and she's sitting alone in the dark, and he kept going back to her. Was that the GH?
Yeah. No, it was a 1000.
It was the 1000.
I thought this poor woman. I thought I hope she knows, because she was on the cell phone.
Yes,
and you could see a silhouette, and then when you changed different settings, you could see exactly. And if you could lip read, you could see what she was saying.
And what she was saying was, "Hello, police! There's a guy who's filming me from a distance. I think he's a perv." So that's probably what happened. That's the last video he ever shot.
I would be thinking, if I was doing that, people say, "What are you filming? Yeah, stop looking at me." But
now, have you ever yet seen Robert's London, the podcast? He's on YouTube. It's called Robert's London, and he films with an RX10 and an RX100 and some other ones, and the Panasonic LX100. I'm sorry. Yeah, he takes some beautiful videos of London. I really like the guy, and he does a great job of explaining where he is, what he's doing. He tells you about the history of the places. He goes and has breakfast at a famous place, and he just sits and takes film of his breakfast and shows people around. They're great videos. I think Robert's London. It's a great, and he's done some at night, and I tell you, London looks beautiful at night. It's so lit it up.
What does he say? What camera he uses?
Yes, he uses the RX100 Mark III, I think. He also uses the Panasonic LX100 and several others. He's got 2 or 3 that he uses, and they're really nice. And he also does camera reviews and some other stuff, but usually his thing is all about going all around London and showing the different sites.
But that's the thing is with the FZ1000 as opposed to the HCX1000, it's a great small enough camera, but you can take it anywhere, and people just don't seem to mind when you've got that camera up. It helps taking a picture. It doesn't seem to mind, but you take out the big HCX1000. Oh, you can't do that. People get a bit funny.
It makes them nervous. What do you have? Also, with some of the big cameras, it looks like you're taking out a weapon. So it kind of makes them go, what is he taking out over there?
And when I went to the city last Sunday, I wanted to try out some low lights. So there was where those horses were in the city, where the trams were. I was right next to a huge church, and I thought I'll go in there and just do some filming. But the church, there's a sign out there says, camera, if you want to take pictures, it's $5. And I thought, oh, that's not too bad. But if you've got a tripod, which I did, $15. I said, no, I'm staying outside.
Huh. Interesting. And this is just to go in and take pictures of it.
Yep. $15. Yeah.
Okay. I guess they got to make some money somehow.
Well, that's right. But I always think people say, oh, no, you can't. You'll offend the Lord. But if you give me $15, he'll forgive you. That's true.
That's true. That's called the middleman tax.
That's right. So I thought, well, no, I'll wait. I wasn't that desperate to go in there, but I thought I'll wait until it gets dark outside for cheaper.
Well, you could always go in and say, oh, no. You must understand. I'm part of the audit department, for God. I'm here to make sure that everything's looking right, and I need to take some pictures to take back with me.
The thing is, I think when they say, oh, if you use a tripod, it's $15, because they all automatically think it's a professional shoot when you've got a tripod.
Right, that's true.
And outside of the church, it was funny. There was this young fellow outside the church, just sat on the grass. He had a tripod there, and he had in there, and he had a backpack with all his food and drink in there, and he had a GoPro on it. And I thought, what's he going to be sitting there for 15 hours doing a time lapse?
he may be.
It was on the main intersection. I thought he was set there for the day. I thought, I'd love to do that, but I have not got that patience. There's plenty of times when I said, I want a time lapse of this going from this. I thought, no, I've got to be up at 3 in the morning and sit there for 4 hours.
Well, no, you hire an intern.
Well, that's right.
Go to one of the colleges and say, here, this will feed you for 4 hours.
Did you see the news in America about the ruling on interns? Because they've just changed that.
What now? Now what did they do?
No, well, it's actually been quite good from what I hear, whereas before there was a bit concerned that they've been exploited, that they weren't paying interns.
Oh, no, you always pay interns, yeah.
But even then, they've ruled that now that you don't have to, if they're getting something out of it. But if they're just making cups of tea and coffee, yes, you do have to. But it is said
you can in
certain ways, as long as it can prove, well, you're getting something out of it,
right?
Of that. But it said, but if you're not,
I'm okay with that. We've had interns in graphic arts and video and stuff in the past, and all sorts of multimedia development, and they got a lot out of it because they got to do real projects. And for us, it's good because it's a cheaper expense, but it's also fun because they get to learn quite a bit. And sometimes they can become full timers or just permanent resources if they work out. But it's not a bad way to go, and the interns need real experience. So it works out, and if it's done right, everybody benefits. But but I agree, a lot of companies just abuse them to no end. I mean, they just do really bad work, and they get nothing paid. And when they leave, for example, Leslie's cousin, she was an intern for Annie Leibovitz, a famous photographer. And she said, my whole job was getting her espresso. And I went, so what did you learn? Nothing. She goes, I watched her, but other than that, I did nothing. So
and that's where it's ridiculous. Like, I think we should all be paid something. It might not be a lot, but just your expenses for your day, so you can get in there.
Well, yeah,
and do something and have something, because you're getting something out of it, and that's what they say as well. If you're getting something out of it, it's if you're showing them that and you're not getting much out of it, well, you don't have to pay them. But it works two ways.
Sure.
So they're learning something, but if what they're learning is helping you do your business, yes, you have to pay them.
Yeah, and a lot of companies, what's funny? The largest companies are the ones who pay the least. It's just really interesting. It's like they can afford the most, but they pay the least, if at all.
But I'm really one that support, paying them and doing something to get a leg up, because I know when I was 16, I was out of work and I took something up like that, and it made a difference. You might not have known got into retail selling things, where I got a thing that you got in on a much cheaper base, but it really does help you for the future thing, because sometimes you just need that break to get into something.
That's true. And with that note, we are out of time, and here's some wisdom for you. Be kind to interns and fat people. We'll leave it at that.
Does that mean Jeffrey?
It means both of us.
Well, you said the other day you've lost so many pounds. I said, I know where it's
yeah,
gone.
but I still have 30 to go.
I
mean, I lost 50, but I've still got a good 30 to be where I want to be. It's just, now I'm trying to figure out, yeah, you did say, I know where they went. Where did they go? Oh, to you?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Last time you were out here, you were pretty slim. You looked like you had lost a lot of weight.
Oh, well, I think I've just got to start doing it again. So,
it's hard to get off. It's real easy to get on. Boy, it doesn't take much.
And also, it doesn't help when it is winter, because when it's a bit summery, you don't mind going out for a walk. But when it's cold and dark in the morning and dark at night, you don't like to go out walking too much. But like in the summer, you just do like to go and walk a lot more. So
yep, that's true.
But anyway, as you see by Melbourne's weather, the winter's not that bad anyway.
No, it looked beautiful out there. How cold do you guys get?
Well, we got down to the Fahrenheit, but it was our coldest one for ages was 2 Celsius,
which is about 35, 36 degrees. Yeah. So that's not cold, but you do feel it. You will feel that.
Yeah, well, we do, because we're not used to it. But
now Melbourne is pretty much at the same longitude as Buenos Aires, I think. And I lived in Buenos Aires, and in winter it gets to about right above freezing, maybe 30s. More often than not, it's 40, somewhere around there. So it's cold, but it doesn't really debilitate you that much. And then in summer, we're 90s and 100% humidity. That's not fun. But
we don't get so much in the humidity, but it is a much warmer climate in the summer. So
yeah. All right. Well, we are wrapping this show up. This was, by the way, Tech Down Over 41, and if you are watching the recording, please subscribe and give us a thumbs up if you like. And we look forward to seeing you next week, and we'll have more videos and more information and more stuff. Now, by the way, I've heard rumors that there are new Panasonic cameras coming out imminently. So we will see. Yeah, I was talking to Larry at Sammy's, and he goes, well, I really don't know much. I can't tell you much, but there's some really good stuff coming up, but I don't know anything about it. So we think there are new things coming out. So, they've got to keep leapfrogging. And the only two real people innovating right now, really innovating, are Sony and Panasonic. And everybody else is sort of lagging around. They do some nice stuff, but they're not exciting. I don't know what's going on. Even Nikon and Canon, they're too busy fighting each other. Who can be more boring? So I don't get it. Nikon's never had much... But I'm sorry, Nikon's never had much in the term of video. I don't hear anybody being a Nikon filmmaker. Not much.
But they do a good job. It does a good video on some of their cameras as well. But you say you don't hear much about that for the Nikon, do you?
No. It's just that they're known for photos. But even then, they do probably better things than Canon right now. And Canon is known for video, but they're very slow to get into 4K for some odd reason. Maybe they'll just leapfrog everybody and go to 22K one day. Who knows?
Oh, well, that's right. Yeah, why not? Let's have
and that'll be a $100,000 camera, because they don't like anything under $3,000 nowadays.
Before we go, do you do much with your editing in 4K? Because with Premiere, have you done?
No,
much?
I just strictly bring it down to 1080.
No, but with the I do bring it down to 1080 a lot, but I'm finding some of the when I put it in, there struggles a bit doing the editing. It
does. Well, you're on a Mac too,
and I've got plenty of memory in that. So
no, but the Macs is slower. No, the Macs is slower. That's all it is. Okay. On the Windows, it's a lot faster. I haven't had any. The Windows at 4K doesn't seem to choke. I also have a 4 gigabyte video card, so that makes a difference. But on the Mac, I notice occasionally. You've noticed it a little bit, right? Yeah, Clark also noticed that every so often it just glitches for a second or two, right?
Yeah, and that's only on 4K if it's the recorded the AVC HD or the lower quality. When you record, I don't have any problems, but it's only on the 4K footage when you filmed in 4K.
Right, and now do you bring that down later to? Is that before you bring it to 1080, or is that on the 1080 timeline?
That's still on a 1080 timeline.
Okay, yeah. It just chokes on it. They're big files. They're not big, but even some 1080 stuff sometimes chokes a little bit it's really depending on your bit rate. So if you have 200 megabits, that's a pretty big bit rate, And as a result, that's going to slow down the amount of that it can process, especially with iMacs. Well, actually, Apple doesn't have any fast solution for video, really, because if you look at the Mac Pro, it's slower than the iMacs. So there are new iMacs supposedly coming out in a month or two, I think they're announcing. Maybe they'll be faster, because right now they only have 2 gigabyte video cards. They've got to go up to 4 to really start getting a video. For a real video editor, I think 4 is almost, with 4K, I think you really need it. And that's fast. But with just 2 megabytes, I think it's going to struggle a bit. But see, people are finding out now, Macs are slow. They've never been faster than PCs. They look nicer, but they've never been faster.
Well, it's always been the thing. People they'll get a Mac and say, oh, gee, it's not as quick. Well, they've never been quick.
No.
It's just they've been easy to click here, click here, but they've always been a bit slower. They've never been faster than Windows.
Since we haven't finished yet. Windows 10. I have now tried, I think, 7 times unsuccessfully to upgrade to it. It always fails at the same exact point, no matter what I try. I've tried all sorts of things. And Leslie was reading last night that there are issues upgrading if you have SSDs, and external devices. So Drobos and external devices cause it grief. Now, you'd think they would have tested that, but the code's probably done in India, and that's what you get. You just wonder sometimes, because, come on, they've had this beta for a while. You'd think they would have ironed out the upgrade by now. No.
Now, how did you get that? How did you
I
get
got
the
invited
upgrade?
up front, and then it showed up in my thing saying, you're ready. But you can just go and get it. You can just go right to the Windows site and download it.
Oh, okay. Because mine, I did that thing, but it's not saying it's ready yet. It says it's coming soon.
It's coming soon, but you can actually get it ahead of time. But it's still, hopefully you don't have any issues. But as soon as you run into SSDs, and there are, I've tried. Now, we did buy a Dell All-in-One the other day, just a small one, a 24-inch one. It was something like $650. It had a lot of features in it for the money. It was an AMD instead of Intel, so it was a little bit cheaper. Windows 10 loaded fine. We had one problem with it. Once we figured it out, Windows 10 loaded beautifully, and it runs nicely. And Cortana now is built into everything. We'll probably talk more about Windows 10 next week.
We'll do that.
Let's see if anybody else has had successful upgrades. I haven't. So far, 7 times, no cigar.
Okay, well, we'll leave that for another show. That'd be great.
Because Windows 10 looks nice. I think it really does look pretty. It looks nicer than a Mac to me, what they've done. It's more graphic and more visual. So it's sort of interesting.
That might be another option for me. Leave this Mac down here and just get a bigger PC for me video editing.
You could. A lot of people do stuff like that. You might have a faster machine. Just check with me ahead of time, because, well, you know what we can do? We can build it for you, and you take it back next time you're out here. That's
right. So, what's this carry-on luggage? It's just a little PC.
It's my little PC. It's a laptop. They make them big in the U.S. Yeah.
That's right. Because a good thing with these days, with all these software, it's usually cross-platform. So whatever you use on Mac, you can always use it. There's a Windows version that you can get access to. So
yeah, that's true. But yeah, for video editing, I actually do prefer the Windows machines to the Macs, just for speed, speed and processing power and extra drives and everything else. It just seems to run better. Anyway, well, again, for all you people in the chat room, well, there's no chat room, so forget that. For all you people watching on YouTube, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and this is our second goodbye to you. So, goodbye.
Okay.
Bye, Geoff.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.